am here with a
Are we
special
live?
guest. We are live.
Okay.
Antonio McKee's with me.
Back again.
Back again.
Back by Black demand.
Yeah. And we're going to continue our conversation we were just having. We were talking about the 1% of the wealth. And I threw some names out there because you said you're black, you're in entertainment, you're in sport, and you can't get into 1% of the wealth. And then all of a sudden I started naming
No, I didn't
names.
say I can't get in. I don't want to get in.
You don't want to
No.
get in.
But they don't call shots up there, brother. Oprah Winfrey don't call no shots.
You don't think Oprah Winfrey calls no shots? Bullshit. You don't think
Not up there.
They throw their money around.
Not when it comes to politics. They play the game with the politicians.
Exactly.
But they don't control the politics.
Well, they all wanted Kamala Harris to get elected for a
Did
reason.
she get elected?
No.
That tells you what I'm just saying. They can play the game, but they don't control it.
Well, I mean, the thing is that you sit there, and I was talking to one of the people I have a weekly podcast with in Columbus, Ohio, from End the Violence, and he was talking about inner city communities. And he's like, I hate to tell you this, but the inner city communities relate more with Trump because you want to know why? No one wants to listen to us. They just want to blame us. And that's exactly what happened with Trump. And then I also said because he also got shot. So that really got him.
Hero. He connected with the ghetto. He survived 50 shots. Didn't take him out.
50 shots. Well, if Trump tells the story, it'll probably be 300 shots. but I think the thing is that with the 1%, I think they do. I think they run to their own rules. Now, I think a lot of those 1%ers are going to be in a lot of fucking trouble when this whole P. Diddy thing comes to a head.
Yeah. Well, I used to tell people, I used to go to these parties. Everybody thought I was lying, making this stuff up. I see one girl spun around a table having 10, 7, 8, 9 men with masks on having their way with her. And I was telling people about this, and they were like, man, Tone is tripping. He crazy. He this. Now they're calling me Tone. Yo, I seen what you was talking about. Nigga, that shit is old. Those are old parties. P. Diddy, he copied the parties that he attended, and he became the party guy because he liked what he was doing. He liked what he saw.
So the party started, what, 70s, you think?
I would say I saw him in 85, 84, 86.
In Miami?
No, California.
California.
Hollywood was raging for that. A couple of the people, I ain't going to say their names, but very powerful Jewish people owned strip clubs, and these strip clubs had two things going on in the front and things going on in the back. And then...
I don't think the strip clubs have changed.
Well,
40 years later.
But you know what I mean? That's when I was in it.
Right.
Then it went from, okay, we can't do this in the strip club. Let's take this to a private house. I'm up in Mulholland Drive off the 405 all the way to the top of the hill, and you have to get in a charter bus to take you up to the house. And then when you put your phones in the bag, like, come on, man, this stuff's old to me. I'm not surprised by any of this stuff. It's just social media and the new internet world is making all this stuff possible for you to view.
And almost real time. It's like within seconds. It's crazy to me how many professional athletes find out about what their team is thinking of doing on social media before the team actually tells them.
Yeah. I'm seriously starting to think we're being controlled by robots and AI. I think they've taken over already. Elon Musk is talking about he's going to have more robots by 2050 than people.
Well, you do know that the original AI was the internet. Mm-hmm. Because it was able to, right? You did a couple searches back in the day. What was it, Netscape or AOL?
Yeah.
Right? But it was learning what you were doing.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, nowadays, what's crazy is that everything's listening to you.
It knows what you're thinking.
You can pull into Starbucks nowadays, and it already gave you the order.
Right.
You make fun of me. You're an educated guy. I come from the streets. I was making shanks while you were reading books, all that bullshit. But the funny thing is that when you talk to these people that do AI, what they're using AI for now is fucking scary. Like, your car literally collects so much data that is so valuable. It can tell marketers like, hey, this family likes to go to McDonald's at 3 o'clock on Tuesdays after school. They turn right. They don't turn left. They wait this long in line, and then they turn left out of there, and this is where they go afterwards. It is crazy what your car can do.
AI would be fucked up trying to figure me out because I am all over the place doing what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it. There is no pattern. The only pattern is sleeping with my gun and carrying it with me, riding in a bulletproof fucking Jeep.
Okay, so you know what's so funny is the first time we sat down, I had no idea that was a surprise. Like, let's see how Gersh can handle Antonio bullshit. That's what I was told.
It wasn't bullshit.
It wasn't bullshit because here we are now. We own.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
Neil was
I
trying.
knew what you were. I didn't know what Gersh was. I knew you would be entertaining. Gersh and I were just talking a lot.
Yeah, and I kept telling Neil I know my truth. Like, I have no problem talking to you about anything. I don't religion, race, money, women, you name it, because I know where I am. I know you stand, and I know exactly where I'll be.
I think that's the way most people should be.
But
And
they're
see,
not. They're fucking hiding.
And that's the problem. They can't be their own them. They can't be real. I'm real with me. That's why you say I should do this, I should smoke. No, you don't know the outcome of that. It would be dangerous and catastrophic for a lot of people. So I stay sober. I stay no alcohol. In fact, I like that. You know why? It's natural.
Okay, so
It's not natural to
this
inhale
is the
smoke.
geek study guy in the books guy. I would love to do a fucking experiment. Give you 5 milligrams of THC, have you fight. Give you another 5 milligrams, wait a bit, see you fight. I want to see how violent you truly think you could be like at 25 milligrams. I guarantee you,
If I
you will
shot you
piss
up,
your pants.
If I shot you up with hormones, you could be gay. Stop.
No,
That's
I
not natural.
won't be gay. Dude, if
No.
you eat soy, I get man boobs if I eat
I
soy,
said I'm
dude.
going to shoot you up with these hormones. You can't control it. It's a hormonal thing. You can't control it. It's
What
not
hormone
about
are you going to hit?
I'm going to hit you with all this motherfucking estrogen. I'm going to deplete all your testosterone, and you will be worthless and sensitive.
Do you know, I hate to tell you this, but my testosterone was lower than my wife's and my estrogen was higher than my wife's. So I've actually gone on testosterone beads and I take anti-estrogen and I still cry at every commercial.
That's because you're soft.
Oh, I'm soft.
Yeah.
Oh.
Set him up, bang, bang, shoot him. Pow!
Oh, come on.
Gersh, why are you
I
turning
know
red
you-
right now?
I know. Oh, bullshit.
Hey, I got that ass.
No, because
Okay.
I'm a little high and I'm laughing pretty hard. But the thing is, when I'm like talk to people, the hormone stuff, and just because a guy cries at a commercial doesn't make him soft. It makes him empathetic.
Listen, you can use those big ass words and you can say he's empathetic. Listen, if you slam your fucking hand in the door, do you cry?
No, I usually get pissed.
Okay. If you experience a death in the family, do you cry?
Yes.
Okay. See the difference? One is an emotional part that takes place. The other one is a physical pain that should have the same emotional effect but not as powerful. So I'm saying, like, I want to cry. I really do. My wife thinks there's something wrong with me. I want to cry. You know what makes me cry? When I see a kid on TV saying, I want my mom and I want my dad. Or I see a man that's abusing a fucking minor, having sex with a child.
That makes you want to cry.
It
Now
breaks
that
me
pisses
down to a point to where, because it happened to me. I'm emotionally
right.
connected
I
to
understand.
it. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So when I see that, I break down like, oh my gosh, this is what happened to me.
So are you involved with any of the nonprofit sex trafficking organizations?
No, I am not. I'm going to tell you, I don't have the confidence and power to stop the elite from doing this. This is something that's been done for a long time, and this is the history here. It's been done. I have friends that'll go to other countries and fucking be with boys and girls that are underage. I disassociated myself. I don't want nothing to do with them people when I heard this was happening and they were doing this. Look, it's a sickness that any man that thinks that he should do that to a child, fuck, they're innocent, man. I would give my life to spare a life that not get done to, because I know what it did to me psychologically as a child growing up sexually.
How about you're also a father?
Yeah, that's why I don't let anybody babysit my kids. My wife is a stay-home mom, and she's a longshoreman. She makes $600-700 a day.
I know she does.
And I tell her, stay your ass at home and raise these kids. I don't give a shit about all that other stuff. When they get to a certain age where they can say, somebody touched my private area, or they can display certain activities that tell me, because I know the signs, then she can go to work. Until then, we'll just live without. We'll live with less.
Well, I mean, longshoreman, that's one of the best jobs ever.
And it's one of the most dangerous.
It is.
She's taught, she
What
be
did she
telling
do?
me,
Does she work on the tug?
she does the crane, she does the leeching, whatever that's called.
The
latching.
crane is fucking crazy.
She stood under it the other day. She's doing a video while she goes up under the crane to pull some weight out. I'm like, if that thing falls, your ass is dead.
Or the container falls.
Yes.
I know.
She's dead.
And what's so crazy is that have you been on a cruise before? Or is that a
Yes.
white thing? Okay, so that's just
Can't
not
be a white thing. I wouldn't have done it. If it's a white thing, I ain't doing it.
So anyway, so when you go on a cruise, those people that take your bags when you check in, on the curb, and they look like they're strung out because most of them are. They're longshoremen, and no one realizes how much money they truly make, and they give them these huge fucking cash tips all the time. Watch it. It's
I
fucking
never
crazy.
paid attention to that.
Watch.
Those are longshoremen loading up the cruise ships?
Yes.
I did not know that. I'm going to ask them for some money next time.
Exactly.
Hey, man, kick me down a couple
Can
dollars.
you give me a tip?
Give
I
me
got to
some
pay for
party.
the booze on this trip.
Okay.
Yeah. So you didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Well, I find it unfortunate that your whole life or your younger life still has such control of your adult life.
I think it's amazing.
But I think at some point you need to take your wife on a date.
I take her on dates all the time. We go to Hollywood. I just took
Who
my whole
watches the
family.
kids? Who watches-
They came with us. It was $30,000 I spent. $30,000 I spent to take my family to Belize. And we're all connected in the same bungalow because I don't trust the other bungalows. Now, I'll give you a good example of why it's good to be the way that I was. I don't know if I was on the show when this happened. I was sitting at home, just got done training. I hear this banging at the door. Boom, 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 boom. What the hell is that? I get up and go to the door. The neighbor across the street, Asian dude, has a TRG, Tiny Rascal Gang tattoo, has the baby upside down, and right next to me is a woman screaming, "Help me with my baby." Now, I got my gun on me. I see the kid hanging upside down, and I'm kind of like, I don't understand. He's trying to get in my house. Now, I'm paranoid from my childhood experiences and things I've been through, so the doors in my house automatically lock when you close them. Had that not been an automatic lock, what would have happened? I'm sitting on the couch, and this man snatches my door open with a baby in his hand, and I'm sitting on the couch with my gun. Just happened to be, I was taking my gun out of my bag, and I just set it there, and I said, watching television, and this happens.
In Orange County.
I tried to Orange County.
You're
That
not
was
in Orange
scary.
County anymore?
Hey, when that Black Lives Matter shit hit off, they wasn't fucking having it. This is where I'm saying, listen, you don't know what it's like to have this skin color.
I don't. And
This shit is different.
I never said I would. But I think
Orange County has got 15 black businesses in the city of Huntington Beach. There's 15 black businesses, right? And most of those black businesses cater to black people, which is barbershops, and there's a nail beauty supply or something like that. There's a couple other little stores in there. But when the shit hits the fan, they don't see, oh, that's Antonio McKee. Those racist white boys see a nigga. And I don't care what nobody say.
so. You lived in Huntington.
Huntington, yeah.
You didn't live in Costa Mesa. You didn't live in Aliso Viejo.
I
You
lived
didn't
in
live
Newport Beach.
Okay.
Not Newport Beach. I lived in Laguna Niguel, 225
Okay,
Shorebreaker
Laguna
Drive.
Niguel.
They ran me out of there. They said, we don't want you here. I stayed up at
Who said
225.
that?
The police pulled me over every night. In fact, the last time I went to jail, it was right there. They pulled me over every night and told me straight out, we don't want you here. This is in the 90s. I lived at 225
the
Shorebreaker
90s.
Drive, up on the top.
So
on the
30,
hill.
30 years ago.
Was it 30 years ago?
Yes. 30 years
Well,
ago.
it seemed like yesterday. See how trauma follows you?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm going to use the big
Have
word.
you ever lived in a black neighborhood and got ran up out of there?
Have I ever lived in a black neighborhood? No, I have not.
Why?
Because
You could save a lot of money living in low-income apartment buildings and low-income housing.
they would run me the fuck out of there. Right? They would. And I hate to say it.
Honestly, I'll
living
tell you
in
the
a white
truth.
neighborhood isn't
No,
all that
I'll
there
tell you
is
the
to
truth.
it.
You're safer there. You want to know why? Because you would be the token white guy. That's what I'm saying. People have this race shit all confused. Because when I grew up in a low-income neighborhood with poor white guys, those are just some poor white boys. We didn't hate on them because they're white. We didn't.
Why
think
did you
like,
hate on them then?
We didn't. They became
Okay.
my buddies, and we
Okay.
hung out. Oh man, that's a crazy ass white boy. That white boy cool. Or he made a contribution to the hood.
Correct.
Whether it was weed, whether it was police fucking with us, he'll come outside, man, fuck that, leave my homies alone. Like, I think we need to get off the color. We need to get off of the Black Lives Matter. We need to get off of Black History Month. All that stuff is bullshit. and it keeps division.
Well, you were talking about then, what about reparations?
Well, no. Please don't give these Negroes no money. Because the ones that are the threat have serious issues, bro. If you watch all the blacks that come through sports, they make this money, and they become very successful in life, why do they have chemical addictions? Why are they drug addicts? Why do they date out of their races? A lot of them have issues that you don't know about because it's been covered up because they were such great athletes, and then once they get to the pinnacle point of their lives, there's no drive anymore. You see the real guy.
They're bored. They're bored.
He's fucked up.
They're bored. They're bored. I make that argument that, and on our TikTok page, I got in an argument with a guy because my buddy Willie, the spiritual one that was here, me and him sat down one day, and he goes, I wish more people would listen to Jim Carrey, because Jim Carrey says, I would want everyone to be as rich and as powerful and as well known as the Hollywood elitists, and they'll realize that doesn't buy you happiness.
Right. Anybody that has money will tell you it doesn't buy you happiness.
Fuck no.
It brings comfort. It pays for comfort, but it does not. Happiness is something that's internal. How can I be happy as a black man and I don't even know who I am?
You still don't know who you are?
Well,
You're still
I trace
trying
my
to figure
lineage,
it.
but it costs money. You know what I mean? Not the average person has the resources that I have to go back and look at my great ancestors from Ghana.
Just don't do 23andMe.
I won't.
Because a Chinese company just bought them. So next time
They got
make
DNA on them.
Yeah, as soon as they make they won't be able to make the virus stronger next time.
Well, that was for people who are not healthy. Healthy people just walk right through it. I didn't even catch it.
But again, the people with influence. Okay, you want to talk about the 1%ers? Let's talk about what's his name who owns Microsoft. He put all this money into into COVID research, but he also changed the way drugs were tested. Ivermectin. He ran it at about 10 times the recommended dose and said, oh, look at all these. Everyone's like, look at these side effects. Now, ivermectin, you use it to deworm animals. You don't use it for anything. So I don't know if it works or not. But at least you got to keep it on a level playing field. Don't say, oh, this drug is unsafe, but run it at doses that are way higher. Perfect example. They use ivermectin all the time in India, developing countries, because of parasitism in people. They use it all the time. There's no side effect to it. These people, that's their daily routine. And you remember when COVID finally hit India? Everyone was like, oh, fuck, here we go. India's going to be wiped out, right?
Right.
Because they're all sick, they're all impoverished, they're all malnutritioned, all this stuff. It went through India like there was nothing ever came of it. Like, who got fucked up the most? New York City, right?
Well,
Italy.
that's what they say, because I was there when they showed all that shit, and it wasn't what they were showing here. I was there Saturday, flying back home from a fight. Sunday. They were showing stuff there that wasn't happening. They showed all these ambulances and all this bodies being put in. That was bullshit. I was there. I was downtown New York, staying at the Marriott. It was not like that. And I was watching them show that on this side, because my wife was showing it to me. She was like, look, babe, they're showing New York.
Yep.
I'm like, let me show you New York. The streets were empty. That was not what was going on. So I don't know, man. That shit was a whole scam.
Oh, it was a political scam.
You believe in depopulation?
Do I believe that?
Yeah, like they're
trying to depopulate?
Yeah.
Part of me, on the conspiracy side, absolutely. But they're all Bible lovers. They all believe in God. They don't want to kill their fellow man. That's what the politicians will tell you.
You know, I will tell you that in the Bible, God is doing all the killing. He's allowing a lot of stuff to happen because. Like,
so by that, you're deducting that God is Chinese.
I don't think he is a color. I think it's a spirit.
Yeah, I agree. That's why that whole male-female argument is bullshit.
What's the argument?
God's a man, God's a woman. No, God's a spirit.
But it doesn't say that. When you get into the tablets, you start to learn Akhman Ra, who is what a lot of people serve as a god. He served a god too. And this was a spiritual God. So I don't know. I'm not there. I ain't going to say that. You might be right.
But you said God speaks to you.
I don't know who it is. And so
Is it a male voice or female voice?
It's not a voice. It's a conscious thought. It's not a voice like
so
me.
it's in your voice.
No, it's not a voice. It's a conscious thought in my head.
But when you have thoughts in your head, don't you usually narrate it with your own voice?
No, not me. I don't.
Oh, I always narrate my thoughts.
But
I guess you're right. I guess our generation is fucking crazy.
Maybe. I don't know. Like when I grew up, I told the people that admitted me into a mental ward that there was a voice talking to me. Oh, really? Come with us, Mr. McKee.
When was that?
I was 7. From 7
So
all
was
the
it
way
in the
up to
70s?
12, yeah. I was at Harry Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee.
So I hate to tell you this. 50 years later, they'll still lock you up if you say I'm hearing voices. I'm telling you. They'll diagnose you schizophrenic more than likely.
But I'm not schizophrenic.
You
What
know
if I'm just a spiritual man? You don't believe in God.
You don't have highs. You don't have highs and lows.
Oh man, I'm on fire, high all day, like I'm on coke. That's what it seems like. But I've been spiritual my whole life. What if the pastor said, "No, ain't nothing wrong with you. You're just spiritual. God's talking to you." Oh, really? Well, I don't know who to identify it with. It's never told me to do bad things.
Which is good.
I noticed.
Thank gosh.
I noticed
Thank
the true
goodness.
different voices. I know the voice that says evil, but I didn't know evil, and I know the voice that said good when I felt it.
Right. So you didn't feel anything with evil, like uncomfort, like
Yes.
yeah.
I felt like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but then I felt remorse by after I do this. This is the feeling I'm gonna have, and I wouldn't do it. So that's why I wanted to talk to professionals, because my life experience, it's real. I didn't make it up. I went to church. I got baptized. I spoke in another language. I was crying. I'm like, where is this coming from? What is going on?
You spoke in tongues.
Yes. I don't know what I was saying, but it was like an African, and it was like really loud in my head.
Yep.
But it wasn't loud. My wife said you were very low. I'm like, what? It was booming in my head. I wasn't drinking. I don't drink.
Right.
I just went to church to take my son to get baptized, to receive powers within, because it helped me with some issues that I was having in life. Well, the lady comes and tells me, God says you need to be baptized. I said, God told you that? He said, yeah. Now, we can say coincidental. My son was saying, man, my dad needs to get baptized after he experienced what he experienced. And I had been baptized twice, but I never received the Holy Spirit. This is what threw me into studying religion. When I did what I did, I was fine. I remember being on my knees, and they were telling me, I was saying, thank you, Jesus, glory, hallelujah, thank you. And the next thing you know, man, I don't even remember what it was, but I was upset that I was doing this, and I was conscious, very conscious-minded of it. I'm like, wait a minute. What is going on? It seemed like it was days that I was on my knees. My knees was numb, my body, I was crying. I was just crying. I was asking myself, why am I crying?
Because you're soft.
You might be right. I was soft at that moment. That I hadn't experienced that type of softness.
Maybe someone's trying to tell you should try to become more soft.
Well, you can't deal with the things that I deal with on a daily projecting to be soft. It'll eat you up and spit you out. It is what it is. See, I can go where you come from, and I can schmooze in there. You can't fake the funk where I'm from, because you'll end up dead. Or you'll end up robbed, you'll end up shot or stabbed. That's the reality. It's not my opinion.
So do you think you're still an influencer for the inner city communities?
Yes, I'm the guy that they say, you know what? We remember that guy. That guy was crazy. I've always been labeled crazy. Why? Because I thought different? Because I didn't do the norm? I didn't sell drugs? I didn't gangbang? But yet I carried a big-ass gun, and I didn't have a problem with letting it off? You're trying to take what I work for. I bought this car. I cut grass. I dug in trash cans and collected aluminum boxes, cardboard, copper. I was a recycling center. And you want to take my car from me because I don't rep your hood? I can't drive to L.A. and pick up some T-shirts and sell T-shirts in the neighborhood. You want to come rob me because I'm selling and hustling T-shirts? I don't understand that. So I don't have a problem with killing you. I really don't.
So what about the argument that most of these people do all the robbing and doing all that because they're just looking for their own money?
That's fine. Then rob and don't kill. You guys are killing innocent people. That's a whole different game. A whole different game. You can rob somebody, strong arm, but you don't gotta kill them. But what if they don't want to give it to you? Then you walk away because you got the power, you got the gun. But this person's willing to die for this. That was me. But if I would have stopped and started crying, emotionally attached to what they were doing, you think I'd still be here?
No. But
and those are 9 times out of 10. Those are the statistics of people who show that weakness in the hood. It is what it is. I couldn't wait to get the hell out of there.
So let's talk about that rookie football player, right? He just bought that nice watch and he didn't want to give it up, and the guy shot him this season. So let's say you have a very nice watch and they want to steal it.
I would have gave it to him. I would have. Because I know what's at the end of the barrel. See? Maybe this guy thought it was a game. Maybe he thought he was bigger than them. I don't know. But me, now, you take me back to when I was growing up, guess what? He wouldn't have got that watch. I'd have tried to knock his fucking block off. I would have act like I was giving it to him and got close enough to him where I could hand it to him and knock him out.
So
I had nothing to live for.
So do you give so the watch is given to the guy because you feel bad for them, or the watch is given to the guy because you're like, it's only a fucking watch?
Today, it's given to him because I don't want to die. I got responsibilities at home that need me. I can go replace the watch. The watch, they can't replace me. So the watch doesn't have the same value, right? But when I was growing up as a kid, I did everything and would possibly kill to have a watch like that. So I'm willing to kill you over the watch. It's just a maturity thing.
So when did that change for you?
Once I got out of the hood. Once
you started fighting?
No. Fighting was way down in the end. I didn't start fighting until I was in my 30s. I wrestled. I wrestled in high school and college got me out of the hood.
Right.
Wrestling, my abilities got me out of the hood and got me paid, but it didn't change me. The change came when I was adopted by families and lived with them and woke up every morning to breakfast. Came home from school, there was orange juice and peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was milk. What the hell? I made it to the big life, baby. But that's just structure.
You moved in with the Jeffersons.
I moved in with my coach, who's Filipino. His dad was Filipino and his mom was white.
High school wrestling coach or college?
High school.
Okay.
By the time I got out of high school, my coach got me a job and I was able to get an apartment with other teammates. And see, that's another reason why I can't hate white people. I hate to say this, Black America, but those are the people that have given me a craft. Now, of course, God was in control of all things, but at 12 years old, I was given crack to sell. From 12 to 15, I was selling crack and marijuana in an apartment in Signal Hill. I could have been killed. By the time I hit 15, I was given guns, and I said, okay, look, since I like to fight, collect money, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The influences around me weren't good. By the time I turned 15 and a half, I was now living with my coaches. I was now completely different environment. I'm living in Lakewood, where it would be, could you put the black guy in the house? I'm trying to sell my house. What does that mean? I'm over there in Lakewood Village. Cops got me up against the wall, but I'm hanging out with my white friends. And they're like, why are you messing with him? You got any warrants? I do. And back to jail I go. I was going to jail in the hood. I'm going to jail over here. What's the difference? But I was irresponsible growing up. I didn't pay traffic once. I didn't have a driver's license. I drove a car every day. These were things that was, to me, I'm trying to get this bag. I'm trying to hustle. I didn't have the opportunity to go take a driver's test and get insurance and make sure that, man, I came up, my mom was, going through what she was going through. I'm living in the streets. I called my family and asked for $40 to stay in Motel 6 for 2 days. I wanted to write out a plan so I can get out of the hood. My family told me no. Hung up the phone. I said, I ought to go rob somebody right now. And I thought about it. I was like, nah, I'm not that kind of guy. You know what I mean? I'm just not built like that. I started crying sitting on that bus stop. I said, I'll never ask my family for anything ever again. Ever. Nothing.
And you never did.
And I never did after that. But you know what I'll do now? When they need something, you know who they call? Call me. And I'll send it to them. I've been taking care of my sister for probably 4 or 5 years. She's a cop. How do you have a government job, you're a cop? And you're all about this and that, but yet you break your neck, you're in Nashville, Tennessee, the good old boy system, and you don't get paid? In fact, you're getting death threats, they're going to kill you because you broke your neck on a job?
The cops are threatening her?
She was getting threats from somewhere. She had to have a lawsuit.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's the South still. I mean, it might be Nashville and it might be Orange County South or Southern California South, but it's still
real.
The South.
And I need to be aware of these things. These
Right.
are things that you don't even pay attention to that I'm all focused on. But that's how I've survived. I went from one extreme to another extreme. It just depends on who you are. If they know who you are, like my friend always says, he goes, you know what, you're different. What do you mean I'm different? He goes, you're not like most black people. What? I said, you are a freaking racist. I ain't going to tell you who he is because he's really close to me. We're boys. And I said, why would you think like this? But this is a guy that Dad said, if you ever bring a black woman to this house, move out. Now, you know the irony of that? His daughter was attracted to a black man. This is the way this works. So, you know, a lot of it's just fear and lack of understanding.
Well, my daughter dated a guy who was 50% African, 50% Palestinian. And here I am, I'm a white Jewish guy. And that was a very interesting mix. I have no problem with the race.
Mm-hmm.
I had a problem with the whole Palestine and him putting down Israel and the Jewish people. I had a little.
He did that?
He tried to bring up supposedly his dad died fighting for Palestine. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, who was really fighting for Palestine in the last 20 years? Well, that would have been Hezbollah, Hamas. You name the extremists, right? Mm-hmm. But it really does hurt me because it's like, because my argument is if the Jewish people gave Israel back, let's just say, here you go. Do you think there'll still be happiness there, or do you think they're going to find something else? Do you really truly think those radical Islamists will be happy if they get the land that's Israel back?
No. They're killing their own people too.
Oh, they are.
They're over there killing millions of their people. So, like,
and they're marrying young kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Look, man, we know that this is a sick world we live in, right?
I agree.
You just pick your evil.
I agree. I mean, there are so many evils. And do you ever think you're going to be able to let your guard down a little?
I'm letting it down here.
I know you are here, but I'm talking about in life.
Yes, I'm very comfortable with being who I am. Okay. I love it. When we go places, my wife knows she's safe. Your wife don't even worry about being safe because she ain't been brought up around the stuff that my wife has experienced as a black woman with a Mexican mom, a Spanish mom, shall I say. My wife is Spanish and black.
Does she yell at you in Spanish?
No.
Oh, you're missing out, dude.
I don't play the yelling. Any type of stuff like that triggers. Those are triggers.
Oh, really?
I got PTSD from being and growing up in America. It is what it is. It's funny because when I was growing up, guys would tell me I used to deal with a lot of military dudes that were crackheads in my community. Black men that spoke 2-3 different languages that held high ranking for the government and the military, from the Navy to the Army to one was even a SEAL commander, which I don't know how that happened, but dangerous man. But they all had a problem. They were killing machines. They were trained to kill. Every day, they're witnessing their loved ones die. Now, the ones that were SEAL, these dudes were way different. They were very slick, very condescending, more like they could set you up in the positions that you didn't even know you were going in, and then you get your situation. But they all had issues, and I said, it's bullshit. You're choosing to be on crack because you're a fucking crackhead. It has nothing to do with your PTSD or but it's not true. Now that I've experienced what I've experienced, growing up, processing it, I'm 55 years old now, and I made it. I became from a street dude that started with nothing. No one can tell you that I had it. To a millionaire.
But not a 1%er, so don't go that far.
No, I don't. I honestly, I wouldn't want to be there because they wouldn't accept me. I wouldn't put up with this stuff they do. They would kill me. That's just how they get the control of the 1%ers that participate in that. You see what Oprah did over there in Africa? Come on, man. You think she was over there just really building schools? They're over there pushing an agenda. But again, hey, look, I'm going to stay in my lane, and I'm going to raise my kids to do it the right way and believe in this. Stay away from that. But question everything that I'm telling you. Go do your own research. See, the problem would be my son Mason didn't have the upbringing that my son AJ had.
Correct.
Because he has a mom that prays for him, his food's ready every day, a dad that knows how to love, that loves him. He's around a big brother that's a good big brother. See, I didn't have that. So the trauma that I experienced is the reason why I'm the way I am. I'm not going to change that. No, because that's how I've survived. You take that away, and it's like taking my gun away from me. I'm comfortable with my gun, legal or illegal, but I learned how to get it legally. And so I carry it, not because I think I'm tough, but because I don't know when
you'll need it.
This can go in a different direction.
Well, I hate to tell you, in the state of California, if you shoot someone because they're breaking into their house, you're still going to end up in jail.
I'd rather go to jail and bail out and pay the fines and, hey, have no problem with doing a little jail time because my kids, my wife can write daddy. I can still pay those bills from my bank account that I built up over the years from jail. But 6 feet deep, who's going to take care of my daughter? Who's going to go to daughter-dad dance? Who's going to take my kids to graduate? See, I'm looking at shit now that means something before it didn't mean anything.
So you're a girl dad.
I don't know. I'm just a dad.
Well, no. Well, I mean, the thing is like, do you admit it's different, boys, girls, raising them?
Yes.
Okay. So the thing is, I'm happy. I just had daughters, and I'm happy because of that, because I think if I had a son, they never would have been good enough for me. Like, they would always somehow or another have let me down doing something stupid, either treating a girl like crap or doing something stupid that young boys like you and I did do, you know, stuff like that. I just think I would have been let down. But having daughters, I like to think they hold me at a whole different level. And what's really great is they always try to find boyfriends that are just like dad.
Well, fortunately, I can understand it, but I can't agree with it. Why? Because my son's not like that. In fact, I hurt for him because he wants a good girl, but he can't find them. He's a millionaire. He's a young millionaire. He's good looking. And the women that are on social media today.
Because they know he is.
And he's a lover. He can count the women he's been with. You could bring 1,000 people in this room and put all their hands up, and I couldn't count all the women that I've been with. I'm proud of him for that.
Why do the women love you so much?
I think it's because I'm charismatic and I have a brilliant personality. I'm outgoing. You never know what you're going to get,
You're
but I'm
extroverted.
loyal.
Yeah.
I'm loyal as hell.
No filters.
No filters, I'll tell you. And
you don't yell at them.
No, I'm not into that.
And you know how to speak to them.
I'm a man. I'm a real man. And when they get out of line, I said, this is the problem that your mother had with your dad. That's why they didn't stay together. So I'm not going to allow you to be that way with me because I'm a real man. You want the bells and whistles, but you don't want to do what it takes to keep the bells and whistles? So if this is going to be this, then I'll just pay you for some pussy and let's get it on.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to be careful because if you do pay for that pussy and that pussy happens to get pregnant, then you'll pay for a long time.
I'll take the kid. Continue hoeing. I've been there, done that. In each relationship, I convinced look, you're white. You can still have a life. You have mixed black babies. No white man's going to be fucking banging on your door to be with you because you definitely are white quality. You're not hood. You're not ghetto. You're not even like on this level, but it's something that attracts you to it. You're better off letting me take the kids, go fulfill whatever it is you got to do, and just be a good mom. Because you can't teach this light-skinned kid how to be black. And that's the problem because on the white side, you're mixed. Your mom's white and your dad's black. They're treated different. Ask the little light-skinned kids, they'll tell you.
Well,
they get called nigger.
Okay, so the mixed skin kid is also not really accepted in the black community
Exactly. That's why I said let them come and stay with dad because I'm going to put the foundation. You know, a great example is my wife. She's Spanish and black, but she didn't know her black culture. She was always the weird one that the family would kind of like not talk to. Her brother is mentally damaged from that. See, she was a little different because she was really pretty and she was a girl. So the racism that she experienced, it wasn't just slapped in the face like it was her brother. What did her brother do? her brother physically beat on her because he didn't like the way she was treated because she was treated better than him. And he thought everyone likes her because she's a girl.
So out of jealousy.
Jealousy. But where was the black dad? See, he could have changed the narrative of all of this by teaching them who they were. I taught my wife about being black. She fell in love with who I was as a person, not judge me for everything that I had done. She was like, wow, like, it's really unfortunate you went through that. And then I learned her pains. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I would have thought this. And then I went to a family gathering and immediately told her, don't ever bring me back around this again. They looked at me like, these is Mexicans or Spanish, but they Mexicans in San Pedro.
Right.
I felt uncomfortable. I didn't speak to anybody, which was wrong.
Right.
But I was in defense mode.
Right.
Back up against the wall.
Correct.
And I'm looking at everybody look at me, and I'm like, well, what's up? Because of where I come from, you know, you just put your back against the wall and you do what you got to do. I'm a fighter, too. I'm going to fuck everybody in this garage up. That's what I was thinking. That wasn't even the case.
You're going to take down all your in-laws.
They getting that ass whooped if you go to that. See, then the emotions cut off, and then I do what I got to do to survive. I'm in survival mode.
Just because they didn't talk to you?
No, it was the energy. You know, we can feel it. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I can feel the tension in here. And she saw that I was very uncomfortable. And I said, listen, I don't want to be here much longer. First thing I'm thinking, they're going to call the homies. I got a $200,000 car outside. This might not be the place I need to be in San Pedro. And I don't do family functions on her side again. Right. I don't want to feel like that.
So what... Have you talked to her family since?
I talked to her brother, I talked to the mother, and I talked to the nanny. But the other side, nah, man, I'm good, man. There's no need for me to go there. For what? I don't want my son to be seeing this and being treated this way because he's dark or he's black. This is the worst thing that can happen to a child because it destroys the identity.
Right.
It destroys the character of that kid. And I'm raising my kids to be proud of who they are. Be proud of your dad. Be proud of your mom. Know who you are. You are the son of who? And I murder that into them.
So if someone would look you in the eye and say, Antonio, give me the legacy you want to leave your kids, what would it be?
Family. Family first. God, then family. Connect. And when people, you know, you got all these different variations of a God, right? Listen, I don't care about none of that. You can be Muslim, Islam, Judaism, Christianity, Jehovah's Witness. Screw all that. Because in none of the tablets does it say to be one religion. It doesn't even talk about religion. It talks about relationship and spirituality.
Correct.
So therefore, I don't care about religion. I just want to be the best I can be, the best you can be, right? If you're an evil dude and you like to kill and molest kids, I don't want no parts of your, we can't have a relationship.
Right.
Now, if I catch you doing that on my walk, I'm going to get you out of here. You got to go.
You're going to choke them.
But you go there. We don't gravitate to each other. I only want to help people who are looking for a way out. I want to go right now to the hood and be the Grant Cardone. Let me tell you how I did it. I started out collecting aluminum cans and cardboard boxes. I lived in my car for 3 months and bought a stolen car. Now, you don't got to buy the stolen car. But I was involved in selling a car.
Correct.
Took that money, got an apartment. Lived behind a recycling center. Why? No one would live behind a recycling center in a ho-hum apartment. My rent was $475, and it was a box this size with a wall divider up and a toilet right there and a kitchen right there. And I said, I got to stay like this for like a year and a half, 2 years, and save every dime I get. I wasn't impressed with Snoop riding around and Warren G and all. I know all those guys, right? Didn't impress me, didn't stop my phase of what I was focused on. I'm going to get out of the goddamn ghetto. I got to get out of here. I'm going to end up dead. Why? Because I was different. And they knew that. And I could fight.
Right. Well, I think the whole idea, the organized sport that you were doing, that's what the biggest thing, right? And that's why when it comes to Snoop, I love that he has his football league. He's doing what he's doing to help as much as he can, but it's not enough. It's not enough because I think
it starts at home first.
Exactly.
Now I can't speak on Snoop. One, I mentor his son. I understand his son. I treat him like he's my son. I want to see families together. That's what I'm pushing. So even if I know things about Snoop, what benefit is it going to be me saying it?
Right.
Even if I know things about my buddy who's the real estate guy. What is it going to benefit? It's not going to do anything, right? Especially to the world. I want to push positivity and love. If I was a billionaire, you know what I'd do? I'd help everybody that's homeless. And the first thing I would do is start a mental facility. They're homeless because it's this.
But I'm going to make this argument right now. If you're a billionaire and you're going to help the homeless and give all your money and get all the homeless gone in a land of rainbow and unicorns, you would end up murdered. Because do you know how many people are making billions on quote unquote helping the homeless?
Right.
It's the system we live in. It's totally fucked.
And this is why I don't do it. I do what I do with the youth because there's still a chance.
Right, because you want to mentor. I would love to get into that because as we're walking in here, you said, I'm a mentor. I think that is fucking amazing.
I walk
That's
the
beautiful.
walk, I talk the talk.
Exactly. So would you consider one of your biggest values integrity?
Absolutely. Stand on it. And I'll die on it. And I'll be screaming it as I'm taking my last breath.
So do you think integrity is from your neighborhood growing up?
I think that's a decision that I made as I was processing everything. See, I was different. I was a thinker. I'm like, why does this cop keep pulling me over? To where I drive a $200,000, $300,000 car now, and I ride with so much confidence. I ain't been pulled over in 10 years. I got pulled over every day, but I didn't understand how the hood works.
Right.
Now I understand how the hood works. Officer, you pulling me over for what? Okay.
So do you think back to your inner city youth, do you think loyalty was looked at as integrity?
See, nah, no way. Because I saw what they said was loyal, and it wasn't. I saw this dude, he's a drug dealer, he's a gangbanger, he uses him for muscle, he takes him out of town, he's banging his broad. He comes back, she's setting him up. No, I didn't come from that place. Politicians that I know, pushing drugs. Police officers I know. Like, okay, I grew up and saw it all. I just decided to do what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to do that. I saw corruption everywhere I went. But that's, again, like I remember Allison, Lieutenant Allison in Long Beach PD. I used to go down to PAL, Police Athletic League, and spar with him. And I would always ask questions, and he would just always look at me, because the questions I asked would be different.
Yeah, they were pretty serious, I'm sure.
And he was trying to figure it out. And, you know, one day he just told me, he says, do me a favor. Just stay out of trouble. I said, Lieutenant, I am trouble. He says, get the hell out of my office. I left. And it's cause I went to jail in Signal Hill. When they pulled me over in Signal Hill, I told them to call Long Beach Police Department. Uh-huh. I have a gun. What? You got a gun? Oh, it got crazy. I rolled up the window. I'm not getting out of the car. I need Long Beach PD. This is a 911 call. I'm being pulled over by Signal Hill. Extreme racists. They're racist, and I don't want to die. And I have a gun. Follow instructions from what was being told to me on the other end of the phone. The gun was in the back of my car.
Right. It wasn't on your body.
In the briefcase. They said I impersonated an officer. I'm a businessman. You don't even know my company did over $1 million this year, you fool. You said...
When was this?
This was in... This when I had all those pager shops. I had like 4 or 5 pager shops.
You used to sell pagers.
I had 5 cell phone stores. See, I won't say pagers because that shit's ghetto. I had cell phone stores.
I was like, you're aging us because that... Let me guess. Did you also have VHS recorders too that you sold?
I did. DVD players too. Just off the back of the truck. When
CD-ROMs?
Come see me. $25 for a DVD player and a VCR.
Oh, the combo.
I sold them for $25. But I had a whole truck.
Dude, you're so aging us right now. Any rotary phones?
No.
Or no.
No. But my mom had that in the house.
I'm sure she did. Exactly.
And you have to wait for it.
And if you fucking hit the 3 instead of the 4, you had to start all over
again, yeah.
See, no one understands that because everyone wants instant gratification now.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why I'm successful in the era that I'm in with the way that I was brought up. I wasn't brought up to make it. The system wasn't designed for me. I learned different. I was a different type of kid. I was so hyperactive. And that was considered to be a learning disability. But then when they tested me and those tests came back, see all the things I'm talking about, you can go pull this shit up. If you go search my background,
Right.
you'll see that I was really intelligent. Why did a black kid from the hood go to Hughes? I went to Hughes because I was smart. I was learning 2 languages. I was learning Germany and Spanish back then. But I didn't have the ability to sit and be calm. I never was taught the mannerisms of school. I was just smart.
But do you think you also had ADHD?
I probably do have ADHD, but is that a bad thing? Because I've ran multiple businesses, and when I remodel a house, I'm doing plumbing over here, I'm doing drywall right
You're
here in this room,
multitasking.
and I'm fucking running electrical over here.
I think all entrepreneurs have at least some form of ADHD because you can multitask, right?
Yes.
Because you could be working on the pipes and being like, okay, with the roof, this is what we need to do while you're working on the pipes.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, and then I got to remember to pay that bill.
Yes.
And I got to remember to pick this up on the way home.
It's amazing.
And the thing is that people, it's a gift because I'm that way too.
Absolutely.
But the problem is my brain never shuts off and I don't sleep well. I don't sleep at all at night.
So me and you are a lot alike when I didn't know how to control it. I learned how to meditate. Once I meditated, it got scary because one time I meditated and I was stuck in the corner and I was looking down and I couldn't get back. And I was up there looking at my old lady that I was holding in my arms and I was screaming and yelling at her, but I couldn't talk. And then I came out of it, why didn't you wake me up? And she was like, what is wrong with you? You're crazy. And I was like, no, I was meditating because I needed to sleep. So what I do now is I pray before I meditate. Because you're in the spiritual realm. Now, we know whether you believe in God or not, there are spiritual things going on in different dimensions.
Correct.
That's fact, right? So all I'm saying is I want to gravitate to the spiritual realm that is good, that is peace, that is love, that is concerning, giving. Yes, I grew up like this, but my heart is this way. But if you push the button long enough, you're going to get what you're asking for. I'm the worst guy to do that with because it's not going to be a middle. We're 100% best friends, and I'm loyal to you. And we're going to ride or die together. Or I don't like you. Stay away from me because the next time I see you, I think you're going to try to induce bodily harm to me. If not, I'm going to do it to you. That's how much I don't like you. But it's also flip how much I love you, how much I care. And I'm willing to die for this relationship that I have with you.
But you want to kill him too?
No, I'm saying I'm not a middle guy.
Oh, yeah, there's no middle. Okay.
I'm either in or out.
You don't live in shades of gray.
No. Shades of gray is what formed me.
Do you have OCD at all?
Yes, extremely clean. Everything is set up. My house is organized, and I know when my wife touches my phone, she's touched it, but I don't say anything. I leave it right there. Why does my gun move? When I walk in the house, we're told, my family is taught, when we enter the house, I go first. You know the first thing I do when I get in my house?
Search it.
Nope. I smell it. Because I know what my home smells like.
Right.
And if someone's in there that's broken in, they're giving off an odor and it's an unfamiliar smell to my house. I go, wait, guess what? Dude was in my bedroom, going through my dresser drawer, heard me coming in, jumped out the window. But before that happened, I told my girl, I said, hey, hold on. I could smell a stench of cannabis. I don't smoke. And I told her to stop. Went in my bedroom, that nigga was jumping out the window. He didn't get anything.
When was recently?
This was about this was in 97, 98.
So all your stories stem from the 80s and 90s. Has life changed for you now? I mean, do you still sniff your house when you go in?
Absolutely.
Have you ever found anybody?
No. I even smell my girl and can tell you if she's cheating.
Do you have an alarm system?
Absolutely.
See, you're good.
Cameras.
Yep. Oh,
Some nights I sleep with them on. Some nights I don't. Some nights I say, I feel weird tonight. And it's usually when I lack sleep, I get to tripping. So I need to sleep at least 4 hours.
That's I get 4 hours every night, and everyone thinks I'm crazy.
No.
But
It works for you.
Right. I know what else I found. You're talking about the meditation, the mindfulness that you need. For me, I've learned that it's a walk in the morning.
Okay.
That's when the sun is rising. When I go for a walk, that's when I come up with my best ideas.
Yes, that's when you're connecting. The pineal gland is connecting the most with the other side, right? So what I do is I go into REM sleep.
Immediately?
Huh?
Immediately.
No. It takes me about 20 minutes of just laying there and deep breaths, and I'm just telling my body to relax. I'm telling my brain to overpower my body, relax, and just rest. It's okay to rest. The alarm is on. Your wife's right here. Life is good. Now you need to rest. And I am out for 3 hours and back up at it again.
So what do you
matter
do?
what time I go.
So what do you do when you get up?
First thing I do when I get up is I lay in the bed on my phone, flipping through it,
Right.
checking my messages, get up, go look at the stocks, look at what my money's doing, go through my emails, clear out everything. I can't stand emails that are unopened.
OCD.
Checking
Okay.
it off.
Yeah.
Then I'll take my son to school. I'll wrestle with him for about 2 or 3, 10 minutes in the bed. He wakes up in chokeholds, and I'm showing him love, but it's a physical love. And then from there, my wife will make me a smoothie with all the little magical things I like in it, collagen and, all the stuff, the chia seeds and the, I've got like blueberries. Like, I swear if there's a way to live to be 100, I'll make it, because I cherish my body that much.
No, why do you want to live to 100?
Well, I want to be healthy.
I have my reasons.
And living, but I want to experience my kids to experience me, and I want to experience them being me.
Thank you.
And I'm on my way out.
I want to outlive my kids because that's the only way I want to know that my family's okay.
I used to say that, but now I'm financially... See, people, if you would say that, would say bad things about you, because Tito Ortiz said that. I don't think people understood what he's saying, like just what you said. But I would...
How do I know my kids are going to be safe?
You don't. That's where faith comes in. Faith on
Faith
what
that,
you've
that,
done.
that they didn't marry an asshole. Faith that they're going to be taken
Live
care
long
of.
enough to see that. You know what I mean? Take care of yourself, because, speaking of that, the cannabis that we're smoking today, you're gonna see a lot of schizophrenia, dementia. There's so many reports on it, man.
That's why I grow my own
ripping,
stuff.
Ripping through the hood right now. Ripping through the hood. They're losing it. I'm losing great athletes to it. My son was smart enough to figure it out, and he's been smoke free. Snoop's son stopped smoking. He remembered what I told him. He experienced it, and then he stopped. Cold turkey.
Right.
Crazy.
Well, let's see. I got in an argument on a podcast with Rick Ross. He was here, and we were talking about cannabis, and the beautiful thing about the original cannabis versus what they're making now is it wasn't as addictive.
Right.
This stuff now is becoming addictive, but it's still, I don't think people wake up like, I got to get high. I got to go smoke.
What?
You really think so?
What? I know people that do that are functioning every day.
Well, there's functioning alcoholics.
But you see what they're starting to do now? I'm seeing the glitches in the system. I'm like, bro, finish your sentence.
Right.
Bro, what did you just say?
But
You're 40 years old.
40. I was going to say, my kids are in their 20s. They really don't smoke pot that much, but they
That
talk
much.
like that. They talk like that.
That much.
Yeah, every now and then.
Okay.
They drink alcohol more than they smoke pot.
Well, alcohol is not as bad to the psyche as alcohol. Let me tell you something about marijuana, man. This shit, from 12, 13 to 27, the brain is maturing, right? It's developing, and the process is about 25 years to develop. If you start smoking cannabis at 13 years old,
You're fucked.
14 years old,
Fucked.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, you will never know what you lost because you'll never get it.
Right.
Because the brain is pre-developed.
I stopped drinking and started smoking pot all the time when I was 39.
Okay, now from 27 all the way down the line, you will suffer in your elderly age psychologically, but you can stop smoking and actually repair it. Why? Because that's how the brain works. See, you lost it or you disconnected from it because of the smoking, but then you're able to stop smoking and you can get it back. That's the problem. And
I'll tell you what, my creativity when I'm high is through the roof.
I know a lot of people are, right? And just like the dude that does coke.
Right.
That motherfucker goes on the stock market and he just has it. Something about it. This kid, he
the
does
Wolf
Adderall.
the Wolf of Wall Street, right? He did.
I didn't watch the movie, but...
You didn't see it?
No.
There's a whole scene where Matthew McConaughey's sitting there talking to Leo, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I wake up in the morning, I do take a
bump.
a bump,
My buddy does it. Yeah.
and then he does Adderall, and then he does another bump, and then when he goes out for his lunches, he drinks alcohol, and then that movie, I cannot believe you haven't watched.
Well, I don't spend a lot of time watching TV.
Well, you just got to watch it to understand that this is how Wall Street works.
But it works, right? Mm-hmm. Until what? It doesn't work.
They crash.
That's the problem. See, most people don't realize that they're going to crash. There's no way you can tell yourself right now, I can stop whenever I want, until you realize that you're trying to stop and you don't.
I can tell you I can't because I have an addictive personality, and that's why I've never tried cocaine.
Yeah. Because
I know that high I will be chasing for the rest of my life.
See, I was like
the first time, right? You're always chasing it.
Well, if you can't get it, why keep doing it?
Because the problem is people with addictive personalities don't know they're never going to get that again.
Oh. I don't know. I don't know if I have addictive personality or not.
Like the first time you go to a casino and you win, let's say, 10 grand, you're always going to be chasing that 10 grand dream, right?
But if I go through all my money, I'm like, man, the hell with this shit. This ain't real.
But you're not addicted. You don't have an addictive personality.
I don't have addictive personality.
You're OCD.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're ADHD.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't need the addiction on top of it because then you would totally be. That's the trifecta, my man. You would be fucked forever, man. You would be
fucking self-destruct.
You'd be fucking taking that coke and you go, that line is not straight enough.
Yes, line that shit up right. Give me the $100 bill, man. I know how this is done. I saw somebody do coke for the first time not too long ago, and it freaked me out. They chopped it up with a credit card. They made 4 lines, and they took a $100 bill and rolled it up and went, that was one. Then the girl came, and then the other girl came, and then the other dude came, and that shit was gone. And I was like, what just happened?
But the problem is nowadays, you're talking about marijuana being bad. Cocaine has fentanyl in it.
So does marijuana. My friend's son died from marijuana. He had a headache, went and sat in the car, smoked the joint to make his headache go away, and died in the car. They say the reason he was dead was because the temperature, he went in such a deep sleep that the car was too hot and the heat killed him. Why did he not wake up? Because if it's hot, you wake up, you go, damn, it's hot. Let me get up.
Dude, you obviously have never been high.
He was in a deep sleep.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
And his body shut down because it was too hot. Huh?
There's some people that get so high they got to remind themselves to breathe. Everyone says breathing and the diaphragm moving is a completely reflexive action. There are times that you get so high. I mean, and you read another drug that you read about is ketamine. Ketamine's even worse because not only do you fucking freak out, but you just disassociate. So you can see yourself from outside your body and you can't do anything.
Why would I want to feel this way?
Well, because people they're chasing the dragon. They're looking for that
That's not
eye.
a good dragon to be chasing. That nigga sounds scary as hell.
Why do people bungee jump?
I don't know. I think that's another
Why do they jump out of an airplane that can land perfectly?
Yeah, I get that. It's an adrenaline rush. They're adrenaline junkies.
They're addicted to that adrenaline. Why do people go run 250 miles and shit their pants? Why do people do Ironman marathons? Yeah. Like you're talking extreme like fucking shit that people try to do to get that high.
Yeah.
Right?
I get it. I understand it, but I pick and choose.
And some people will argue, Antonio, that you are that way. Like you are totally on all the time because you're always trying to get that high. You won't let yourself down from what you're doing because you always want that fucking that high. Like
see, I don't feel like that though.
Correct.
So that's why I'm saying I understand them, but I'm not jumping out no planes.
No, fuck that.
I'd rather go to the hood and have a peace meeting.
How about there was a video on YouTube that this girl jumps in the ocean, right? And a tiger shark is swimming right at her. And she's like, when you see a tiger shark coming at you, don't thrash and try to get away. Don't try to swim away. What you need to do is you need to stare it in the eye like you're a predator and then gently push the nose away as it swims by you. What do you think of that shit? Would you ever try that? What would you do if you jumped in the ocean and a tiger shark was
I'll be the first black man besides Jesus to walk on water. I'm up on that. You think I was Jesus?
After you emptied all your bodily fluids and put up a chum screen?
Yes. Well, it'd be all bad. Survival instincts kick in. You know?
And hopefully you're with a group of people, because then your whole thing is you don't want to be the slowest one.
No, I look at me being a black man in the water. I'm a seal. Them sharks is colorblind from what I heard. That's why I ain't getting in the motherfucking ocean. They see me swimming. That look like a skinny-ass seal, but I'll take it.
But you can put a chokehold on that tiger shark, right?
Nah, I ain't trying to chokehold nothing. I'm getting up out of there. I told you I walk on water.
But again, that's the type of addiction people have. Some people want to shark dive. They want to see the great white shark up front.
Let them do that shit. Because it don't affect what I'm doing, and I ain't affecting what they doing. Let them jump in tiger shark, and I'll be watching their ass on the news.
Yeah. Do you remember the Darwin Awards? Did you ever see that ever on the short clips on YouTube, Instagram, stuff like that? They had what they called the Darwin Awards, which like people died doing stupid shit, and they gave them the Darwin Award, like survival of the fittest. Yeah. Or they got hurt really bad.
I mean, you know, man, look, I don't understand it. But hey.
Like people fucking climbing Mount Everest. Granted, would I love to be on the top of Mount Everest? Yes. Why? Because not many people have done that. But you don't see me climbing to the fucking top of Mount Everest?
Yeah. You know, you said something to me that I want to go back to.
What's that?
You said I am the most creative person when I'm high.
Yep. It lets down my wall. Okay. Like if I have writer's block.
So it's not that you're not, it makes you creative. It just brings down the wall. You're already creative.
I think it brings out, okay, I'll rephrase it. I think it brings out my creativity more.
Okay, it enhances it, you think?
I think so.
So could it be the fact that you don't have the feeling of failing? That it doesn't matter because you're numb.
No, you know, the thing is, my biggest fear in life is failure. You nailed that.
That's where I got that from.
Yeah.
Because most people that are like that. See, I study human behavior as well, but from the hood. See, you read the books and you studied. While I was in the hood, I had to survive learning this nigga like, you don't shoot me today.
If I wasn't a swimmer in high school, I would not have gotten into college. I graduated with a 2.6.
Damn, and I had a negative 0.3.
Fucking 4 years of high school down the drain.
Negative 0.3. They said, how do you have a negative 0.3?
Because
I had negative Fs.
You had negative Fs. You had F minuses?
Yes.
You were in the 40s? 30s?
They said I was retarded. And they asked me to take a test. I took the test. I passed it. They said, take the test again. This time I'm in a room where people are watching. I take the test again. I score really high. And now everybody's being peaceful to me.
And that's when they put you in the hospital, right?
The hospital came.
They put you in the hospital because you tested so high. But you tested so high one time that they're like, this guy's had a.
That was when they bused me to the school. See, when I was a kid, it was evaluation, psychiatric evaluation.
Gotcha.
That was in Nashville, Tennessee. When I came here in 80, 81, 82, they put me over there on Paramount and South Street for an evaluation, but it was more of a, like, let's figure out what it is that he's good at. Mm-hmm. Now that I know what they were doing. They were running all these tests on me trying to figure out where my intellect was because I was talking some wild shit. And I remember them asking me, who taught you this? And I was like, I don't know. I just know it.
So, do you think you're reincarnated from a previous life?
Okay. As I continue to grow, I married a woman that got involved in witchcraft.
Correct. You told me that story.
And this involvement in witchcraft, she showed me things that were working out of the normal realm.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm watching this stuff in my very own time. There's no gaps in between. I'm watching it. And I'm like, damn, why is she doing all this stuff? So I was trying to disconnect from her, and someone told me to go get some salt and bathe in salt. So I'm like, okay.
Salt water or salt?
Salt. And do a cleansing.
Okay.
Now, this has biblical terms, too. That I didn't know any of this stuff. So you're getting this stuff not knowing, and now I'll explain to you what it meant. So I go to this store, I walk in, and I'm looking for some salt. It's like a magical store, but I don't know that. It's a store where witches are. I don't know that. They just tell me to go over here and get it. So I go there, I get it. I walk in, I said, I'm here for some salt. Cleansing salt.
They were like pink Himalayan or?
Yeah, no, they had all those rocks and stones and crystals,
yeah.
Which she was using those stones and crystals.
Right.
Right? So I walk in. I said, I want to get some salt from cleansing. I want to just cleanse myself. They go, oh, come over here. And they show me, pick out the salt. She had these different types of salt for different things. I'm like, oh. She says, well, this is someone put a spell on you. I'm like, well, I don't know about. Listen, I just want some salt to cleanse myself because I've been around some bad energy. A lady comes out of the back and she looks at me. And we lock eyes. You notice I'm really good at looking you in the eyes. I'm good at eye contact. So we're looking at each other. She's looking at me. And she says, I've been waiting on you. You've been waiting on me?
Did my wife call?
Okay, now okay, now I'm acting the way I was acting then.
Right.
But what I know now, I understand it. You've been waiting on me? I said, yeah. She goes, yes. She looked me up and down and she says, you came here for a reading. I don't know what a reading is. What do you mean I came here for a reading? I don't understand what a reading is. She said, what's your belief? I go, what do you mean? She goes, you believe in God? You believe in what? What's your religion? I'm like, I believe in God. She goes, okay. She says, do you know who I am? I'm like, no. I don't know who she is. She says, I'm a witch. I'm like, oh, yeah, my wife. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know who you are. She goes, but I'm a white witch. That's obviously.
Mm-hmm.
She's white, big lady. So she says, you came here for some answers, which I didn't know I came there for answers. So she says, I would like to read your cards or something.
Your tarot cards?
Tarot cards.
Yeah.
I ain't never heard of this. So I'm like,
You're from the hood.
right. This lady talking wild shit, right? So I'm like, okay. I said, well, how much does that cost? She looks at me, she says, it's whatever you can give me. Now you're talking my talk. Because if you have a gift from God, I've always been, why are you charging people?
Right.
You help people regardless whether they got money or not. And if they want to give you something and they got it, then you take it. If not, don't worry.
That's a whole nother episode.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we go in the room, we sit down. First thing I do, I got my strap on me too. I got my Glock 40 on me. I'm sitting there. She pulls up a chair. She starts doing this weird stuff. I'm like, she has these cards. She's flipping these cards over, putting them in stacks of 3, if I recall. She tells me to pick some cards and put them on each part of the deck. So I pick that card, I put it there, pick that card, put it there, pick that card, put it there. Boom. She shuffles them up, she flips them over, and she looks at the first deck and she looks at me and she goes, now remember you asked me, do I believe in reincarnation, right?
Correct.
So she said, wow. I'm like, you look at a card.
Did I hear blackjack?
Like, what are you impressed by? And then she goes, you have Michael. He stands behind you. He guards you. I'm like, my homeboy Michael a cop? I didn't understand none of this. Because see, I didn't know back then. I didn't know Michael was the archangel. I didn't know that. I thought you were talking about Michael, who's my roommate. He's a cop. 4 or 5 years ago.
How the fuck do you know Michael?
That's exactly what I was thinking. How the fuck does she know Mike? You see how shit can go left when it's really not.
Right.
It's the tables are turning like this. So I'm like, I'm looking at her and she's like, Michael, do you know who Michael is? And she goes, she could read that I didn't know. And she was like, Michael the Archangel. I don't even know about Michael and the Archangel. I said, well, and that's when she says, what's your religion? I said, well, I don't have a religion, but I do believe in God. She says, that's when she told me she was a witch and blah, blah, blah. Long story short, now we get to the second card. Bam, she hits it. She backs up. She goes, oh my. She goes, you've been here before. You were a powerful king. I was? Stroking my attitude. Fuck yeah.
Your fucking ego's growing. You're like...
But I'm trying to look at her straight face because I don't want to give her any type of an emotion that she's on to me, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at her. The first card, I was a warrior. She said I was a warrior in a past life.
You're a warrior now, in this life.
The second time, she said I was a king. She didn't know anything about me, but she was right? And the third card, she looked at me, and she made me redo the deck. So I went out and bought some tarot cards because I wanted to figure out what the third card is because she didn't want to answer the question to that. She just said, I see you on a mountain, and you're leading people. Crazy. I used to have a dream that I'm on the top of a mountain and I'm leading millions and millions of people into war. And I'm looking up asking God to help me. But I'm up there looking down. And it was very...
Was it Bear Mountain?
I don't know. It was just a mountain. Now, you would think I was high smoking some weed. But, see, this is where doctors, scientists will tell you you're crazy. When they don't have an explanation
Right.
for the abnormal that is normal to me, that's not normal to them. I just realized that there are special people on this earth. They have gifts. I didn't realize the school that I was into back when I first went to the one out here was a school for gifted kids. And they was testing me, putting these things on my head, trying to ask me all these questions and asking me I don't remember, it was just weird. And there was this machine that would go up and down like a heart scanner. Like, this was a very young age for me, and it was traumatizing. But I remember it was like glue things all over my brain. They were reading the electrodes, they were reading my brain.
It's an EEG, yes.
But this was different, though. It wasn't like the one I take when I go for my physical. Right. This was something different. And it would ask me questions about, have I ever been here before? What do you know about space? I was always fascinated with space, and I would say things about the sun, and I would say there's a speed called spirit where, light can escape a black hole.
Right.
That's moving in the speed of a spirit where time stops. Like, I'm saying shit that doesn't make sense for a child to know. And I don't even know how I learned it. You know what I mean? I really don't, because I don't remember ever studying it. I've never read a book other than I slip and slide through the Bible. I really have a unique gift of it's a sensitivity of feeling. I predicted my son would be the world champion. He went undefeated. He did exactly what I told people. But that was a message coming from above. And I told everybody God told me he's going to be the champ. And he's going to be the tournament champ. He wasn't even in the tournament. And I kept telling my son, you're going to be in the tournament. Don't worry. Guess what? He was in the tournament. I said, I told you. God told me you're going to win the tournament. You're going to finish everybody. Guess what he did? He won the tournament. He finished everybody. And then after that, I couldn't see. And I said, son, I'm worried about this next fight. He goes, why? I said, because I don't see it. Right. And I'm normally able to see it. And I couldn't see it. And that means he had done something that he shouldn't have done. He didn't know. I'm praying every day. I'm trying to figure out why. And then it downloaded that he smoked and fornicated after he became the champ. I went to him and I said, I know why you lost now. He looked at me and he was like, why? I said, because you started smoking weed again and you were fornicating with women. He didn't say anything. He just looked at me. And I said, son, God is real, bro. I said, because that was between you and him. You told nobody that. That was the thought that you had with him. And he looked at me. Been straight ever since. So, can I say I'm special? No. Because I've been living with this gift that you would say, oh, that's a coincidence.
Well, from that story, what you're trying to tell me is that you're a reincarnated spirit, and that's how you know everything.
I think if energy can't be destroyed nor created, then I've just come back. And I'm coming back because I probably didn't do it right the last time.
Or you have unfinished business that you still have to take care of.
Yeah. I mean, or I love for something that I didn't get a chance to love, and I'm able to have it this time. I truly believe in the different dimensions. First dimension, forward, backwards. Second, forward, backwards. Left, right. Third dimension, forward, backwards, up, down, right, left. We can see up, down, right, left, and behind us. And I believe the fourth dimension is the spiritual realm.
Correct.
That's where when we sleep. Now, I've never read this.
They're looking into the fourth dimension when it comes to emotional intelligence as well.
So this is why I don't like cannabis, because it plays with that pineal
You think?
gland. Absolutely plays with the pineal gland. There's no way to tamper with that pineal gland other than doing it the right way. You can't chemically induce this. This is demonic to me. This is where you get on entities that are telling you this, but it's really not correct. And I tell people, before weed, okay, we were on a whole nother level of intellect. We didn't even have to talk. We could look at each other and read each other's thoughts. And I've seen...
But can I make an argument to that right now?
Sure.
What do you think is worse, weed or social media?
Social media with weed. Because if I'm a depressed person and AI is pulling all this depression shit, and I smoke, and I stop smoking, and I smoke, if I don't get that smoke, I become extremely violent. That's what's happening now. If they're not getting the weed, they're getting violent. They're starting to kill. You saw that one white girl that got off killing that black dude. She stabbed that nigga up so many times, and she got off.
Again?
Well,
just kidding.
I'm just saying, like, psychic.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, because I think society today has changed. I think society has become meaner. I think they've become basically assholes. And if you don't believe me, go anywhere and just watch how people treat people.
Leave America. Because I saw different when I was in Mexico. I saw poor-ass families that had love and happy, right? I was like,
yeah,
they're happy as hell. They were giving me, I let them have
so
everything.
So why do you think everyone's so fucking pissed off in America? It's supposed to be the greatest, it's the greatest country in the world.
It is as far as opportunity.
Correct.
But as far as freedom, that's something to talk about. I believe here, this energy here is the way it is because you've got so many people tuning in to being the way that they are that it's overwhelming the energies outside of it.
I think social media has really started to show people how bad
half of it's bullshit.
How bad they really do have it.
Yeah, half of it's bullshit. They'll make something up and then push their agenda.
It's all bullshit. I love podcasts because I don't think podcasts are bullshit because they sit down and talk, right?
Right.
You can't hide anything.
Yeah.
But it's like, there was actually a divorce in our neighborhood because the wife said, we're not as happy as all these people's Facebook posts. And it's like, you look at these Facebook posts or Instagram posts or whatever, and it says, blessed, and it's a family of, 4 kids, husband and wife. And then you and I both know
it's bullshit.
They're going through a fucking divorce.
He's cheating.
It's nasty.
She's sleeping with the pool boy. He's banging his secretary.
Exactly.
This is amazing.
She's had herpes probably from the, you know what I mean? It's like, it goes on forever. It's like, no, they're not blessed. But people fucking buy into it.
Yeah.
So I argue, I think social media is worse for people than marijuana. I make that argument. I think
it's addicting.
It's very addictive. It is all based on how you think.
And it's a mental addiction.
Yeah. I think it's worse.
Yeah.
How many kids can look a person in the face right now? None. How many kids can actually sit down and have these conversations? They can't. But hey, if we were snapping each other here, it'd be easy, right?
Yeah.
Like kids come over, I'm sure you see it in your gym. They're all sitting around just, they're texting the guy next to them.
Well, my daughter's like this. She wakes up every morning and to stop her from crying, we just give her the computer and she goes and watches cartoons and she stops crying.
But that's TV. She's not on fucking Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. Exactly. But by then, who knows? There's going to be an even more worse
we're in trouble.
Oh, yeah. We're in a lot of trouble.
I'm sad, but I'm happy. I'm sad that I won't be here, but I'm happy I'm preparing my kids for it. And if you got to go out, you go out with a bang. And you come be with Dad. Because, literally, dog, this is really scary what's happening right now. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? The real ones like us, we're dying. This next generation is responsible for what's going to happen to the future. Oh, my God.
This next generation is responsible to wipe our ass when we're in the fucking nursing home.
Let me shit on myself because I don't want them touching me. They may fondle me, P. Diddy style.
Oh, my God, P. Diddy. Well, if they come in a white suit, we're in deep shit, right? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It might be a problem.
As long as they bring J-Lo to watch, I'm good.
Shit, J-Lo can participate. Everybody else tells me my wife looked like J-Lo. I didn't see it until I actually paid attention to J-Lo long enough. I go, now I see it. They look identical. Have you seen my wife?
Dude, J-Lo on In Living Color? You don't remember J-Lo?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
She banged her way to the top. I would have put her there, too, if I had the keys.
So did Kamala Harris.
Yeah. We know, but you can't say that against the president. I don't want my internet being chopped up and my taxes, I get audited, and now I'm in trouble because you post this interview where we talking about her. I wouldn't vote for nobody that was putting black men and Mexicans away like she was. That woman's a devil. And then she wants to smile and try to appeal to the black community. And she got them popping their booty on stage. What the? You just lost my vote with that shit.
How about the fact that Barack Obama was giving the Black America a guilt trip?
Oh my God! Look! Don't get me started on that.
No, I'm going to say that for the next episode. I want to sit down and talk politics with you.
Yes.
Because we haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, we haven't, but I still got to be careful because my son is in contracts, and I don't want to be anti-Semitic.
Oh my God, Kamala's not Jewish. Donald Trump's not Jewish.
But
do you know who the only Jewish one is that everyone knows is Bernie Sanders, dude? And
poor
that guy,
Bernie.
he's
Leave Bernie
like
alone,
84.
man.
He's 84.
Bernie all right with me, man. Bernie needed some weed.
Yes.
He needed to hit
I
the
think
cannabis.
Bernie had it.
I think so,
I think
too.
Kamala was smoking the weed when she was locking everybody up for weed.
Yeah, that bitch was high as a kite. Lock that nigga up. That nigga tripping. I want all these niggas out of here.
Hey, remember, if you're a hardworking middle class family, which unfortunately we're the upper middle class, but we're still middle class. She had a plan for us. No one knew.
What was the plan?
I don't know, but she said she did.
Wait.
That was a fucking commercial. That was the commercials. they would put
Democrats
on.
have been in party 14 years out of 16. What was she gonna do?
She had a plan.
She had a plan, all
Yeah,
right.
it was whatever Pelosi and Obama was telling her to do, basically. She was a puppet. The president always, let's be honest, the president is a puppet.
Yeah.
He's like the CEO. He's just she's just
Well,
a
they need to get a good
face.
puppet. Get a puppet that people like.
I agree. Someone who's down the fucking middle. Be conservative with my cash. Be liberal in your social agenda. You be perfect.
Yeah.
But that doesn't exist.
Well, Trump scared me because I like him, and he's done more for black people than she's done, for sure, on the positive end. So on that note, he would have won my vote. I don't vote because
It doesn't mean anything in California.
It doesn't. This is a Republican place. I mean, a Democratic state. And in order for us to change things here, we need to get out. They got to go, and we got to make it Republican. And I don't even know where this Republican shit, the Democrat stuff came from, because we were all Republican. Remember, for the republic for which we stand? He didn't say for the republic and the Democrats did we stand. He said for the republic that we stand.
That all changed when unionization started in the United States in the late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, we need to definitely talk politics, because I've never seen anybody pass any laws to ever cater to anybody other than the 1% pockets.
Oh, fuck yeah, because they paid them to pass that law.
So, it is what it is.
Do you think, and we'll end with this, and we'll keep everyone on a cliffhanger. Do you think when that Constitution was written, throw slavery aside, just in general, do you think they were thinking that people were going to go to college to get a degree to become a professional politician?
No, absolutely not.
That's why this system's so fucked.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that next time.
All right.
It was a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Okay. We'll talk to you all next time. See ya.